Words.
Yes, words. How's everybody doing? We're going to go ahead and start with words. First word of the podcast. This is the MONG Podcast, as many of you know. And if you don't know, welcome to your first MONG Podcast. We are the awesome MONG Podcast crew. I'm going to say MONG Podcast about 50 more times in this intro. My name is Miles Farrington. My co-hosts are that guy, Adam Leonard. We're going to start saying our own names.
Hey, Adam Leonard, how you
There
doing?
we go. And
Jordan Leffler.
there we go. I instituted a new rule that no one knew about, so there you go. That's why we're a little slow in the uptake, but it's good. We're still awesome. We're still rolling good. I should probably look at the docs so I know all the stuff I need to say for this intro. Oh, I said all the stuff I need to say for the intro. Welcome to MONG Podcast episode 120. All the names are tentative anyways, because I can't think of a name just yet for, what the thing is, or topic of the week is. So, anyway. Hey, welcome to the chat. Anyway. Site-wide news is, as always, we are always looking for new people to write, make videos, stream, and blah, blah, blah. Underneath our wonderful Mong banner, you can join the Mong family. We'd love to have you. If you want to try your hand at becoming one of the great people of the Mong Pantheon, if I had a bow tie, I'd be straining it, you can go to our website and check out the application, which is pretty easy to fill out. I know because I've done it. Hey, and now I'm here. Started at the bottom, now we're here. That song's really old, and I don't know if anyone knows about that meme anymore. But hey, whatever. Also, anything else we need to mention for site-wide news,
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes, we do. So first up, we've got 3 thoughts on March's NPD software results. Darius Purse went in and talked about basically how Twilight Princess, EA Sports UFC 2, and what was it? Oh, The Division and Far Cry Primal were in the top 10 of the NPD results for March, and kind of what that means and how he feels about it. It's a pretty interesting read. I would definitely check it out.
Right.
And then the other big piece that went up since, besides the news, that went up since the podcast was Mong Plays episode 2 of Alien Isolation went up, which is shorter than the first episode, which I'm very proud of. And it's me getting scared. So go check that out. I get to hide from an alien a lot and crazy robots throwing flares because I don't know any other way of distracting things.
Oh, okay. Well, good to know. Have you died yet?
I died in the first episode.
No, I mean, like, you as a person. Have you died from fear yet?
Oh, a few times, yeah. We can talk more about that once we get to the next segment. But yeah, it's been fun.
All right. Sounds good. Moving on. We're going to keep it at a brisk pace that'll probably slow down the moment we get to a really interesting topic, as per usual. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room, which is... Oh, there's actually an elephant on the back of my drink. Hey, that worked out. We're all drinking beers today. Let's show off what we're drinking. I think it's important that people know. There we go. Krabbies. Adam, what you drinking over there?
I am drinking Shock Top Honeycrisp Apple and Wheat beer.
That sounds delicious.
It is
Jordan.
delicious.
Yes.
Oh, you are alive.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry, I was reading. This is Occidental's Pilsner. It's a brewery that's like 4 blocks from where I live, and we go there a lot. It's really good Portland beer.
It's because Portland is a brewery, like literally.
Essentially, yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
That's literally all it is. You walk in there, it's just like, if you're not drinking beer, you need to go ahead and leave.
Yes.
That's not far off, Miles. That is not far off.
I've never been.
If you walk into a bar in Portland, you ask for a Miller Lite, they just show you the door.
I mean, that's fine. I don't like beer, and Miller Lite is really bad. Oh, just to be clear, this is ginger beer. That's why I can drink it, because it's not disgusting.
Wow. Wow.
I stand by that opinion. Anyway, moving on to the next topic of the show, which is, and always will be, the anyway... There's no title for this. I was just about to read what's on the page. Anything worth mentioning happening. So, this is the part where we talk about our lives for a little bit. So, since we always start with Mr. Leonard, what have you been playing this week?
This week, I have pretty much been playing Dark Souls 3. I took like a week off of work when it came out, and I don't think I can say that I've ever done this with a game, at least not in recent memory. I put 60 hours worth of game time in a game in 1 week.
Whew.
But I have officially beat Dark Souls 3 in a little over a week.
Well done. Well
Wow.
done.
Yeah.
Dang.
I'm a little proud. I'm a little bit ashamed. Kind of a mixture of the both at the same time.
Mhm.
How do I feel about Dark Souls 3? It's kind of I haven't like formed a full opinion yet. But it's kind of like I'm a survivor of like a natural disaster. I'm still kind of just in shell shock a little bit.
Mhm.
So I'm still kind of processing.
Okay.
That's valid.
So now I am just still kind of tooling around with that a little bit casually, and I am super excited on a non-video game related thing because tonight Game of Thrones comes back.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, it does.
Mhm.
Miles, do you watch Game of Thrones?
I watched for the first like 5 seasons, and then I just sat there at the end of one of the seasons. I was just like, I don't care about this, and I just stopped watching.
Okay.
Let's rewind back though. So you've
Yes.
played all of Dark Souls 3 now.
I have.
What was the most nightmare fuel horror-inducing enemy you saw?
Let me think about that for a second.
All right. Now, I thought the basilisks are interesting, considering their giant eyeballs aren't actually eyeballs.
The basilisks are less terrifying in this game because like they're much more of a pain in the ass than the original Dark Souls. Because the original Dark Souls was a real dick. Because what basilisks do is they curse you. In like Dark Souls 3, that's not so bad. You just basically instantly die. And to say that that's not so bad, that instant death is not such a bad thing, it's because comparatively, like in the original Dark Souls game, if you got cursed, you didn't just like die. You like were permanently cursed, and half your health was gone until you went about and did a certain thing to get yourself uncursed, which meant traveling to a completely different region that you didn't have a means to quick travel to. I'm trying to think. Probably my least favorite creature. The Ithfil dungeon in general is just a bunch of BS. And there's these guys called the Jail Keepers. And they have these magic little brand things. And when they put their brand up, not just your life goes down, like your life bar disappears. It goes from being like a nice big life bar to going down to like a tiny little sliver.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest I'm sorry. That was probably the biggest F that moment.
Yeah, I was watching Dan's gaming play, and you know their attack where they just like pretty much slam you to the ground with the brand, that one.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
watched him get hit by that, and he just died immediately. And he was just sitting there, just wide-eyed, just dropped the controller, stepped off screen for a little while. It was like, yeah, that's a moment right there. That's one of those moments.
So that's probably my leading nomination at first glance, with an honorable mention going to the giant crabs. Screw you, giant crabs.
That looked like the most annoying fight you could possibly have to deal with.
Yeah,
Or
or
one.
like the giant possum thing that you have to fight one of, and then eventually you have to fight two of. Those also kind of sorry. Those kind of suck too.
Well, are they like the new Ornstein and Smo?
No, they're kind of like they're a mini boss, and you encounter one of them at one point, and then there's an optional area where there's like two of them in a pit, and you have to try to take on two of them in water at once.
So that's not worth it. I assume it's not worth it. I haven't played.
It actually, believe it or not, kind of is. You get this ring that's probably the best ring in the game.
Is it the rolling one?
No, it's the Ring of Favor and Protection. It's this ring that it like increases your equip load, your endurance, and your health by equipping, if I remember right.
That's a good ring.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of a boss ring.
Yeah, I want that for my wedding band. Speaking of wedding bands, Jordan Leffler, what have you been doing this week? You're married.
All right.
It works.
Yeah. Okay.
You're the only married person in here.
Well, I did actually have a quick question. So, like, about Dark Souls, because I've never really played Dark Souls. Like, really given it a fair shot. I played Bloodborne, love Bloodborne. But my impression of watching people play Dark Souls is that it doesn't feel nearly as, and this is just purely from an outside perspective, it doesn't feel nearly as cohesive as Bloodborne did. Like, it seems like, I mean, you guys are like talking about the possums and like the giant mud crabs and like all this other stuff, and I remember seeing certain things in Dark Souls games that like all of a sudden, like, it just kind of feels like a smattering of enemies rather than where Bloodborne is much more like this Arkham horror kind of feel. Like they really try to make the environments and
Mhm.
the enemies feel like they match
Mhm.
this world. Is that an unfair assessment, or do you guys feel like that's close?
I think that's probably fair because I think that Dark Souls is kind of a large world with a breadth of different environments. While I think I think Bloodborne is, you know, a little more of a focused storyline and maybe almost bit of a smaller world because it's focusing. You know, it just kind of feels like it's a little more, a little with a little more of a kind of like a little more of a reined in focus. That being said, I still definitely recommend, even if you don't go check out Dark Souls 1 and 2, I think that you should definitely give Dark Souls 3 a shot. I think that Dark Souls 3 kind of learns from not only Dark Souls 1 and 2, but you could definitely see the influences of Bloodborne in there too.
That's what
So
I've been hearing. Yeah.
they definitely have taken a couple notes out of like the design and gameplay of Bloodborne. It's still definitely a very different experience because like, you know, the biggest thing of course is you don't gain health back by going on the attack.
Mhm.
That's that's hard. That's near and dear to my heart, and that's gonna be a hard thing for me to break. Like, a hard habit for me to break coming from Bloodborne. But like, I am interested in Dark Souls 3, for a variety of reasons. One of which being that they did take influence from Bloodborne.
And I think you don't also, because if I remember right, part of what turned you off a little bit is that is, you know, it could be really slow and monotonous with like your shield and your, you know, block and block and block. And I
It
definitely think,
wasn't.
God,
No, go on, continue. I'll rebuttal.
I was just gonna say that I feels like the combat's been sped up a little bit, and you can certainly play in a like, you know, there are definitely characters you can certainly play in a style that would be similar to Bloodborne.
Sure. Yeah, I definitely see that in what I've seen of Dark Souls 3. And I appreciate that. Now, to be fair, like I can still appreciate the original or Dark Souls 1 and 2 mode of combat. It's just that it was more tactical than I wanted it to be. It
Mhm.
wasn't so much that it was monotonous. Like I could see it and I can understand like where people could appreciate that. But I would want to do something and my character wouldn't react fast enough and be like, "Argh." Like I there Bloodborne is much more Twitch oriented, which is why like I like attacking, going on the offensive to get my health back. Like it kind of
Mm.
feels like a quicker reward, or quicker risk too. Um, but yeah, I am interested in Dark Souls 3, so that's good to hear.
Yep. Biggest tip: I would probably not pick the sorcerer.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I managed to do it, and I was even surprised that some of the areas towards the end got easier. But yeah, it was frustrating.
Although to be fair, I might wait a little bit on Dark Souls 3. I'm not sure that I'm going to dive straight into that. I am really close to pushing the button on Sultan Sanctuary, though.
That's good.
Have either of you guys played it?
Yeah, I've played some of
I've
it.
watched it.
What do you think? Because I haven't watched any of it. I know basically nothing about it except for what I've seen in like trailers and stuff.
It looks like a 2D Dark Souls to me, honestly. Like, well,
Okay.
it's ugly as sin in my opinion. I don't personally like the models for the characters and such,
Sure.
but it looks like it's what you would want in a 2D Dark Souls or Demon Souls or whatever. All the Souls. But yeah, it looks fun to me, but it also looks infuriating, which is exactly what I thought, or what I think every time they announce a new Souls game, or when they announce Bloodborne. So
Yeah.
it looks
Okay,
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So as far as what I've been playing, because we probably should move along. I've been playing Alien Isolation, which is Let's Play, and that's been going really well. I've been really, like I said, I don't really generally enjoy survival horror, but it's a franchise that I really like. It's again near and dear to my heart, and I feel like um, I it really does a good job of making you feel like you don't have any control over the situation. Like the alien, if it finds you, you are dead. Like there's really no combating it. But like they give you certain things that really are like really make you powerful. Like they give you really powerful weapons that don't ruin the game.
Okay.
And one of the most powerful things is the little motion detector. Like it's you can see anything that's moving. It's like a god mode essentially. But and like you can hide in multiple different places. But then they do all these other things that make you far more vulnerable. Like in the second episode, I didn't realize that if I go into a terminal and like read something, that the game doesn't pause. So like something can still come up behind you and take you and like beat the crap out of you. Or if you're like hiding in a locker or in a box or something, there were enemies searching for me, and all of a sudden the game is like, press this button to hold your breath. I was like, wait, what? This has never happened before. And it's like I did it, and it was like, okay, and now do this to lean back, and I didn't do it fast enough, and they pulled me out. So like they do really make you feel like you can like there's nowhere to hide, even though there's a lot of things that you can do to prevent those sort of situations. It's well done. So I've been playing that, and I've also been playing The Walking Dead Michonne, which I'm really starting to appreciate. They have done some decent things that make it feel different from other Telltale games. Just like very slight stylistic things. The quick time event button notifications are like three-dimensional now, and they kind of like you can like see behind the buttons like as action is going on. So it's a slight difference and makes it feel a little bit more character like personal to this story. And also it's for the comic book version of Michonne. It really kind of dives deeper into her character, and I think that even though she is a big character in the series, like she doesn't get very much attention in the comic books, at least not anymore. And this is a far greater character study, and it's kind of dealing with some dark and deep emotions and components. It's a lot about how she's very depressed and she's kind of crazy. Like she sees her dead children everywhere, and like she kind of hallucinates all the time. It feels like a different Telltale game. I'm impressed with it so far.
Now, does it ever specify whether it's set within the comic book universe or like the television universe?
So kind of where I am right now, like it doesn't. I haven't gotten a strong handle on where it's supposed to take place. I know where it's supposed to take place, but the game itself hasn't really pointed it out. Have you read the comic books, or do you guys know? Have you read the comic book at all?
I've read some of the comic book, and I've watched all of the show.
Okay, so it is based on the comic books, not the show.
Okay.
And later in the comic books, Michonne kind of leaves for a while. She's recently come back in the comics. And it's supposed to take place in that interim when she's gone.
Okay.
Okay.
And so, but like I said, it hasn't explicitly said that yet, which is a little weird. But like, there's one big hint that that it's in that interim, and that's that she doesn't have her katana. She actually uses a machete the whole game. And if I remember correctly, she left her katana with another character. I don't want to spoil it. In the comic books.
Okay.
That's
fine. Yeah, we won't do spoilers today. That's fine.
Yeah.
Get back to me when Telltale does like a Negan game.
Right.
He's too insane.
No, it's good. It's been different for a Telltale game. Like I like the Walking Dead series has always been kind of very good at being dramatic. But this one is dealing with just a different side of a character, like just kind of a different consciousness, which I appreciate.
So, does it give you hope? And like, do you think this is going to be kind of like a bit of how Telltale handles their games from here on out? Do you like the idea of that?
I doubt that they will,
Hmm.
but I hope they will. It doesn't seem like they made a very large investment in this game. It's only 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And they've really spun them out. Like, usually with Telltale seasons, they do like 5 or 6 episodes and then like release them over the course of, I don't know how long did they take to publish the entire Game of Thrones season? Do you remember, Adam?
I would say probably 6 months, maybe. No,
Yeah,
it had to be more than
It had
that.
been longer than that even.
It
Yeah,
might have
This
been,
is
it
a
might have
year.
been closer to a year.
Right? Yeah.
yeah, because there were a few months in between a few of the episodes. This has come out over the course of like 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's only 3 episodes, so it's something that I don't think really have spent a lot of time on, but it feels well put together, and like it doesn't have all those bugs that other Telltale games have really like struggled with.
Mhm.
At least not what I've seen of it so far. And that's been a very welcome change. I do know that they're also going to be moving on with a new engine. That was recent news, I believe. So who knows what they'll go with, where they'll go with that. But tone wise, I don't know that they're going to keep going with that.
Okay.
I think it would be great, but I don't know how serious they're going to go.
Well,
Right now, I will say that Telltale has my, I've kind of been on a Telltale burnout, but they do have my attention a little bit right now. First of all, they're releasing their first non-IP game. It sounds like it's going to be also not a traditional Telltale game. It's like some kind of zombie survival game, if I heard right. So that's kind of interesting. They're going to try something else other than what they do. And I'll also admit that I've started to hear a little bit about the Batman game, and while I kind of rolled my eyes when I heard they were doing a Batman game, some of what I've heard made me kind of nod my head and go like, okay, that could be cool and that could be different for like a Batman game. So they probably have my attention at this point.
I think there's a lot of good directions that they can go into. They just haven't experimented nearly enough. So.
Yep. There goes Chris. Bringing it up. In like the Telltale game, apparently it's going to like the Batman game. It's going to experience a dynamic where you play as both Bruce Wayne and Batman, and your decisions with one can affect what happens with the other, and that's kind of cool.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's interesting. Yeah. I've been waiting to. I really want to play Tales from the Borderlands and Wolf of Wall Street, Wolf Among Us. But
The
I just
Wolf of Wall Street
the Wolf of Wall Street Telltale.
That would actually be a really good game.
Featuring Margot
I'll
Robbie.
play the hell out of that.
Yeah, I kind of want to play them, but the issues with their oh my god, the engine words. The issues with the engine have just kind of turned me off a bit. So like I'm right when you started talking about this, I was like, oh god, Humble Bundle has the sale going on right now where I can get like Tales from the Borderlands and Wolf of Wall Street again is what I was gonna say. So I'm just gonna keep calling it that. I can get Wolf of Wall Street and Tales from Borderlands for like $8. So I'm still debating on that. I might buy it by the end of the podcast, but moving on. We are like 25 minutes into the podcast. Hey,
Yeah, we're gonna have to speed through the news.
Probably. But anyway, yeah. What I've done this week actually is I actually did something which is very abnormal for me. But I played Battleborn. I actually played it this time since I got into the beta. Oh my god, that game is wonderful.
Good.
Yeah, I unfortunately I only got to do one. I think we thought it was a story mission, but at the end of it said raid somewhere, so I'm not sure if that was a raid or a story mission. But regardless, me and two of my friends jumped in. It was like 45 minutes, which is kind of on par for like a Destiny raid, which I know is not the length of like a WoW raid. But it was 45 minutes. It was a lot of laughter, a lot of fun. My only issue is that sometimes it got a little too hectic, which I guess is fine because it's Borderlands-ish. It's Gearbox. But at the same time, sometimes I was just shooting. I'm like, I don't know what I'm hitting. I don't know what I'm killing. I guess I'm still alive, so I'm doing it right. But yeah, the writing is on point. You fight the boss, Jeff, the giant spider robot, who's he's like, I'm gonna be King Arachnus for the day, and Isaac, the dude that owned that he's guarding, I guess, is just like, Jeff, can we not do this today, please? He's just like, Arachnus, and at one point you hit him with like poison gas that's poison for spiders, and he's just sitting there in the gas, just like, I'm choking, cough, cough. And I was just like, yeah. Yeah, this is Gearbox at its best. I'm enjoying this so far. So yeah, I really want to get on that and play with some friends and such because that was extremely fun. Tried out Doom. I guess since I didn't play the original one, I did not think it was that bad. But I hear that people hated it, so I still think it's fun. But hey, whatever. Well, go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah. What did you play? Did you play the beta?
Yeah, the Doom beta. Yeah.
Okay. So you did like the team deathmatch and
team deathmatch.
I talked about it last week. I enjoyed it. I'm not a Doom veteran by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that I don't like. I mean, I think the character models are stupid. That seems to be the consensus amongst everyone. Very Halo-esque. And there are certain things I think they just need to do with balancing as far as the ability to, like, for the non-team deathmatch. I forgot what it was called. Do you remember, Miles?
I think one of them. I only played team deathmatch. I think one of them was King of the Hill, something like that.
Yeah, it's like a moving King of the Hill. Yeah. It seems like it was so difficult to get back into the area in order to take over the hill, I guess. If someone else just had it on lockdown, there was really no way for you to be able to get back into there. And then like they were hoarding all the resources because it moves, and so they can move through the environment and pick up all the new stuff. And it was just, I don't know. It felt like there's need to be something that needed to be fixed there, and that I'm not the only person who said that. But I did enjoy it, and I haven't heard overwhelmingly negative things about it. I do know there's some people who liked it too.
You should look at the Steam page. It is
okay.
It is vastly negative. The biggest thing I know is a problem is they need to balance the weaponry because personally I found that pretty much it was shotgun snipers, shoddy snipes. Because if you were sniping, of course you can kill people, and if you had a shotgun, you were gonna kill people in like maybe 1 to like 3 hits, and everything else was just like, shotgun was like punching someone in the face. Everything else was like you're gently flicking them with a feather, pretty much. So it's just like that was the most efficient way, and everyone was running around with shotguns. My friend was playing with me, and he's like, I didn't enjoy it because I spawned in and died pretty much constantly. I'm like, I guess with everyone having shotguns, that makes sense. But yeah, like I'm to give my like beta review, I'm not gonna buy Doom. It was fun, but that's not really an experience I'm looking all that forward to. Borderlands. Battleborn, however, I definitely am going to buy. I was really excited for it, and the excitement kind of waned. Then I played it, and I'm like, oh, this is Borderlands with a new set of paint, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, I want to play that.
Cool.
And I played. I'm getting back into Destiny.
Nice.
Yeah, not as much as I used to
yeah.
be, but yeah, I'm happy with the changes they made, and I need new content just like I did before, but it's fun. So I've done that one strike I've been farming for forever. I've done it 200 times now, and I still don't have what I'm looking for. It makes me angry.
So it sounds like you're really enjoying that experience there, Miles.
I enjoy the other stuff, just not that part. But anyway, yeah, we should move on because we are running out of time. So anyway, I have it ready this time. I just have to open a little window. Let's move on to the
news from nowhere.
There you go. The guys can't hear it, so they can't properly react, but there you go. I said it. It's done. Everyone else heard it. The news from nowhere. Moving on, the first thing is kind of topical, actually, because I was just kind of talking about it. Borderlands 3 has been confirmed. Not that anybody thought that it wasn't going to happen, let's be honest, because Borderlands is pretty big. It's pretty serious. Anyway, at PAX East 2016, Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford confirmed on stage during an Inside Gearbox panel that work would begin shortly on a new Borderlands. Surprise! And I quote, "It's no secret, obviously there's going to be another Borderlands," said Pitchford, not Pitchfork, to an enthusiastic audience. He then threw the conversation to Battleborn's art director, Scott Kester, who revealed that revealed he would be the art director for the next Borderlands. On stage, they called it Borderlands 3, but Pitchford followed up by saying, "We don't even know if we're going to call it that." The conversation then moved on to Gearbox writer Mikey Newman, who revealed he would be writing the game. Newman joked that the game may follow Scooter's son, a character named Scooper. You can find the conversation at the one. They have video of it pretty much on the Twitch stream archive. They asked Gearbox. They asked why Gearbox decided to focus on Battleborn over New Borderlands when they featured the hero shooter on the cover. This is Game Informer. Yeah, so a bit of miscellaneous information. But yeah, this is good. I'm excited because I heard that Borderlands pre-sequel, I believe, came out and was not well received, or it was like okay received. People weren't too. It was lukewarm. And personally, I know I've said I'm not playing Borderlands anymore right now, but honestly, if they can give it a slightly new coat of paint, as I've said, I will probably play it because to give backstory behind that, I spent like 50 hours just farming the warrior in Borderlands 2, so that is why I was really burnt out on it and didn't want to play Borderlands pre-sequel, which played out well for me. But yeah, are you guys Borderlands fans? You think you're gonna pick up Borderlands 3?
Oh yeah.
Jordan?
I have experimented with Borderlands a lot. The first one mostly, and I never really got through the first area. I appreciate it, and I really like the comedic elements. Like, there's a lot of good going on in Borderlands, and I get that. I think I've just never had anyone that I really played it with, and that's kind of my problem. If I could have a good community of people who I would like jump in with on a regular basis, it would be far more entertaining to me.
Yeah, that is the biggest downfall in my opinion with Borderlands. Beyond the bullet sponge nature of some of the bosses, or honestly the late game characters. That's pretty much the biggest issue. But yeah, it's a game that I feel like you can't properly appreciate if you're playing alone. It's like it's possible. I'm assuming you can find enjoyment in it, but it's just like you need at least one other person. Like I had the same problem as you did. Borderlands 1, I never actually beat that game because I got really excited for it. I started playing it, and I was like, this is boring. This is really boring because it's just. Let's face it, in between the big gunfights and the funny parts, it's a lot of wide open space that's not nearly as enjoyable if you're just driving around it alone as if you have someone with you and it's like, hey, let's go shoot that thing. Oh, hey, you're shooting me. You blew up my car, etc., etc. So, yeah, you definitely got to find somebody to play with. But yeah.
Yeah, if I could find someone to just like go fucking into it and like fucking do it every like couple days or every week or something like that, then yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Okay, so two things. First of all, I've done it both ways, and I enjoyed it fine both ways. Two, well, the answer is really clear. When Borderlands 3 comes out, we're going to have to do regular middle of nowhere game play sessions.
I think that's a good plan, yeah.
Well, that means everybody needs to get a PC.
Or Miles needs to get a PS4, but that seems that's only one person getting something as opposed to a bunch of people getting something.
Yeah, but the PC is more useful, and I have a PS4.
No, Miles, you can just get a PS4.5. It's going to be basically the same thing as a PC eventually, anyways.
No, it'll never be the same.
Oh, screw you! Screw you.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll leave that conversation for another day. But yeah, Borderlands 3. I'm happy to have it confirmed, even though everyone knew it was happening. Speaking of Borderlands, there's another kind of board going on.
Noble attempt, Miles. Back on the Dark Souls tip. This week, recently anyways, a Dark Souls board game appeared on Kickstarter. Steam Forged Games' Dark Souls board game. Kickstarter reached its funding goal in just 3 minutes. At the time of writing, Dark Souls, a board game, brought in more than six times its original goal of $7,832 USD for a total of $458,599 USD. I'd like to point out, as of today, it's over $2 million. The campaign ends on May 16th, which gives the game project 26 more days to smash the past stretch goals. Um, Created in partnership with Bandai Namco, Dark Souls, the board game, is described as a deeply immersive combat exploration game made for 1 to 4 players. Like Dark Souls video games, a tabletop board game will require strategic thinking and clever planning for success. Players can run through the game in solo or co-op modes, choosing from a number of core Dark Souls character classes. Those who back the core game themselves will receive a variety of characters, bosses, and grunt models, along with boards, cards, tokens, and dice. As the campaign continues and the stretch goals are reached, add-ons will unlock, then backers are able to purchase these add-ons by increasing their pledge amounts. The Dark Souls, the board game Kickstarter comes on the heels of Dark Souls 3 released on April 12th. Like the tabletop game, Dark Souls 3 sold a lot of copies and really fast. Bandai Namco reported Dark Souls 3 as the publisher's fastest selling game of all time. Anyways, holy crap, they funded their project in 3 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And they were at $1 million by the end of one day. After one day, they had $1 million in pledges.
I wish I could just do that with my life, just like Miles, back me. Not to make anything, just like this is my life, back it. Yeah, that's really cool. I admit, like, I like board games and deck building games. Although when I see a certain amount of pieces, like there's a threshold, and that at some point it's like that looks a little too daunting for me. And this is kind of at that threshold. Although I am interested because it's it's based on a video game that's really good, so I kind of want to try it. But I'll have to let it come out and see what the reviews are saying.
I am kickstarted on it. I'll admit the entry level's a little steep. I think right now to just get the game, your pledge is like, it's in British pounds, but I think it's like the USD equivalent of about $113.
Oh.
But at the same time, it also seems like you're getting, by being in on the Kickstarter, you're getting a whole bunch of extra stuff because they keep on doing these stretch goals. And so while some of that stuff is like additional money, a lot of it is like, we're just going to give you this extra stuff because, we have so much money, we don't know what to do with it at this point.
I'm sure they could find something to do with it, but yeah.
And I like the fact that it's also co-op too. It's kind of neat to occasionally find a board game that's not you competing against your friends. And
Yeah, I play actually a lot of co-op games, and I really, really like them a lot. Mostly because, I don't know, like, board games are always fun. Love board games, but just the idea of everyone playing the game and like only one person getting satisfaction out of it at the end of it, like, kind of bugs me. And so like I have way more fun when I'm playing a board game, like a co-op game, where we all lose rather than any single one.
Right, you at least have a good story at the end.
Right, exactly. So, and then it's another reason to play the game again. So this is awesome. I love this idea. Like, even as somebody who's never played a Dark Souls game, like, in its entirety, I am really interested in this, and I think it's kind of riding on the coattails of the successful, I guess,
Bloodborne?
Yeah, like the Bloodborne board game was, I guess, successfully, that's what I'm looking for, accepted. Like, it seems like most people are kind of critically appreciative of that coming out. So this is going to be, I'm sure, no less a success. I think Bandai Namco, right? That's who's publishing Dark Souls right now.
The game, the video game, yes.
Yeah, is a little, like, this is clearly showing that Dark Souls is far more successful than I think that they anticipated. And whoever the hell said that Dark Souls 3 was going to be the last one may need to eat their words on that.
Probably. Because
yeah, it is kind of really fascinating how much of like a weird kind of phenomenon Dark Souls is, because it certainly has catched a very large group of gamers' imagination in a very, very intense way. And this is something I could talk about with first-hand experience as somebody who within literally probably 4 months went from somebody who had no interest in playing hard games to somebody now who's like beaten everything but Demon Souls. So it is definitely has a certain amount of allure to it. And as I said about the Bloodborne game, part of what I really love about this is kind of an opportunity to maybe take some of your friends who would never play like a Souls game and still introduce them to the concept of a Souls game. But they
Force them
just
to play a
get to
Souls game. Like, oh, you never play Souls games? Now you're going to.
yeah. Well, you don't have to set aside 60 hours of your life to do so. We're just gonna spend an afternoon playing a board game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to this game. I spent like the last 5 minutes scrolling down, looking at all the stuff they're putting in there. So you have to pay at least, what is it? The first tier is gone, which was 106. So you have to pay at least $113 to get the stuff. But I guess that's a good deal considering how much is going to be coming with it. So
yeah, there's like a ridiculous amount of stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's really cool, and I think that anybody who really loves Dark Souls is a really good investment. If somebody who's going to buy this game anyways, go on the Kickstarter and get it there. For me, I'll wait for like the maybe $40 to $60 version to come out retail.
Well, it'll be like $40 to $60. Then you have to buy all the expansions, which will probably be like $10 to $20.
But you don't have to get that until way far down the line. So I'm penny pinching on this one.
If you say so.
As a Souls nerd, I just want to point out it actually comes with an Ornstein and Smo figurine. That's
nice.
It does. There's also a Four Kings expansion.
Yes,
what fun! I wonder if it'll be as annoying as it is in the game. But
yeah.
Speaking of annoying games, go ahead and take that shot in the foot if you want it, Jordan. That's your segue.
All right. Okay, hold up. I want to hear why you think this is an annoying game now.
I was joking, and then you asked me to give a reason, and I'm going to say because EVE Online is really tedious, and the only interesting thing to come out of it is when they have those giant wars.
All right, I wasn't sure if you'd actually played eValkyrie. But anyway, So eValkyrie is to allow cross-platform play on their title. So the article says, play it with Rift, Vive, and PSVR gamers regardless of their chosen platform. Polygon reports that at Reykjavik, Iceland's FanFest, eValkyrie executive producer Owen O'Brien announced that players would be able to enjoy the exciting new virtual reality experience together while running it on separate platforms. Valkyrie from the outset was made as a VR game, he says. And we want people, irrespective of the platform they're playing on, to be able to flight together and die together. There's a slight, I think, translation issue there. But so that's a big, important thing for us, that everyone can play together and we break down the barriers. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this? I mean, I think it's good news in general, but like, why do you think they've done this?
Well, I mean, anytime there's cross-platform, it's a good thing if you ask me, because it's just like, I remember all the times where I remember the time I bought a PS4, and then all my friends bought PS4s, except for one dude who bought an Xbox One, and we're just like, I guess you're not playing with us, and you've made that decision. So, it's weird to think about, these, the VRs being, different platforms, because even though they are, like, they're definitely different technology, and they're essentially consoles. They're not consoles, but it's like you think of them as a peripheral, but they are technically different consoles. Because I'm going to say consoles, platforms. But I think that's a great decision. It'd be interesting if there was a way to tell, who is who. Personally, I think like you're flying through space and you see a person playing on the Rift and you're with your PSVR boys and you're just like, let's get them. Let's get the Rift dude.
Rift bastard.
Yeah, I'm doing this like a ship.
I think it's a really savvy decision in so much as VR is still kind of a fringe technology. So what a great idea to try to consolidate the VR user base by being able to take people from, multiple VR interfaces and let them all kind of consolidate into one community, like online community.
Very true.
Yeah, that's very similar to what I was kind of thinking about it. I think that there's some pretty strong ulterior motives to this other than just everyone can play together. What my interpretation is that VR is going to be a very low adoption rate from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And this is a launch VR title, essentially. And if there are like a couple 100,000 people who are playing this game, they're going to be very low server numbers. And if they can't meet that demand, there's going to be a lot of people who are upset about the quality of the game. So if they can pool all of their population in VR as a platform rather than individual VR experiences, then yeah, it's going to be a lot better.
Definitely.
Yeah, hopefully more games take that. Developers take that cue.
Yep.
I think it'll be really healthy for VR in the long run too. I think that this will force them to do that sort of pooling process, this crossplay, and it'll just become a norm for VR.
Yeah, they would. I know it won't happen just because these are businesses that are making these, but it would be nice to see like the VRs come out less as competitors, more as like we are all trying to do the same thing. We do it in different ways, but we do need to pool because, as you said, they cost a lot, so not a lot of people have them. And one of the worst things with an online game is sitting there waiting for a match to form, and you keep getting like, oh, I got 3 players and need 6 more. Okay, somebody left. I need 7 more. All right, I'm alone again. Let's start the process over again. So it's a genius play on their part. And we are running long, so we're gonna just kind of go into a slight speed round.
Sure.
So, hey, Supergiant Games, the guys that made Transistor and Bastion, they have announced their next game. It's called Pyre, and it's like football with fantasy. It looks really cool. You have 3 characters. You move a pyre, a little circular orb thing that has a fire, and you get your dudes to suicide in the other team's fire, and that's how you score points, by killing their fire over time. It's kind of complicated and weird. I watched a 20-minute video on it yesterday and didn't know what was happening until someone commentated. So, it is sports with the nice music and beautiful, absolutely gorgeous visuals that Supergiant Games can bring out. As you can see, I have a poster from Transistor back there. I'm probably going to have another poster from Pyre, probably over here or something. I don't know. But, yeah, it's if you think of what's the game, Blood Bowl, it's not nearly as complicated as that, but it's an interesting game. I like the idea of it. I would actually really like to see it in esports because I don't like football, but hey, put some fantasy people with masks and horns and a little dog monster thing in there, and they're trying to kill people with fire. Yeah, I'll watch that football all day. Have you two heard anything about this game? Okay.
It's come across my radar a little bit.
Yeah. It just got announced at PAX, so it's not really surprising. I was honestly surprised that Total Biscuit had his 20-minute video of it already. Then again, he is Total Biscuit. But yeah, it's really like I said, I'm having to speed run through this a little bit, so I can't do it justice. It's a lot more interesting than fantasy football, not fantasy football which is D&D for jocks. It's you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, yeah, people should really go look it up. Like I said, it's
great
gorgeous.
Art style.
Great art style. Absolutely gorgeous. The music, I'm really excited for the music because Supergiant Games, I don't know how they keep doing it, but they're like Mick Gordon from Killer Instinct. They're just like, they can't fail. There's at least a few.
They make pretty games all around, essentially. Every possible experience.
I mean,
so.
Pretty and just the music from Transistor. I found myself earlier this week. I just spent 2 days listening to nothing but that, and because that's some gorgeous, beautiful. Those are the words for this story. Gorgeous, beautiful music. So anyway, yeah, look into Pyre. It's kind of cool, interesting concept. I can't wait to play against my friends in it because football, fires, people with masks, giant woman. There you go. Moving on, Adam. What you got to say about the? I can't come up with a segue.
Oh man, there's a segue right there.
All right, so an uncovered tweet from NerdLeaks has stated that Sony is making a Sony exclusive Spider-Man game with a trailer to be revealed at E3. The running theory is that the game is being developed by Sucker Punch, the people who made Infamous, making a Spider-Man game. Yes, please.
Yeah, that would actually be great. I had that face because I didn't read the story, and I was like, oh, they're just making it? And it's like, oh, Sucker Punch. They made Infamous. They made Sunset Overdrive. That's actually perfect for Spider-Man. Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to see more
Wait,
about this.
did Sucker Punch, did they make Sunset Overdrive? I don't think they did.
No, their first place video.
Wasn't that Insomnia?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
was that?
So.
Oh, my bad.
Sucker Punch is a Nintendo, or a PlayStation Nintendo.
But it's a little bit of speculation. It's a little bit of speculation, but it does make a certain amount of sense. I mean, obviously, that'd be something well within the wheelhouse of Sucker Punch. Also, ever since Infamous Son, we don't know exactly what they've been working on, but I'm sure they're working on something. I really, really hope this is true, because I would play the hell out of a Sucker Punch Spider-Man game.
Hell yes. Spider-Man 2 by Sucker Punch. That's all I need.
They made Sly Cooper also. I don't know why I got Sunset Overdrive, but yeah.
That's what you meant. You meant Sly Cooper.
Yeah.
Both start with S.
Yeah. No, don't judge me. But yeah. Thank you, Lord Jesus Christ, or Crust. My bad. Yeah. Infamous perfect jump climb. That they already got half the game for Spider-Man right there. You jump and climb.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with Infamous 2 if they're not working on it.
Infamous 3?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they're, unless they're splitting the studio, which I doubt they are, someone else is working on Infamous, because I doubt Sony's going to allow that franchise to just wait.
Right.
I feel like Infamous could, I don't know, it's been since 2014, but I feel like Infamous could definitely use like a new face, personally. I don't know. Like, I know Cole's not even in
they tried
anymore.
that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Infamous Second Son was good, but I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I got tired of pretty much like, hey, you're gonna be jumping around, climb. I know I was just saying this is great for Spider-Man, but that's because it is great for Spider-Man. It's like I got tired of the hey, jump around, climb, shoot lightning, or smoke at people. It's like,
Yeah.
Infamous Second Son was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nope.
I was going to say Infamous Second Son was enjoyable, but it was probably for many a slight disappointment because it wasn't like the herald of the new generation of gaming like everybody was hoping it was going to be.
It's true. But yeah, still.
It was really pretty, but yeah, it's just the gameplay was a loop that just kind of got old at the end.
Yeah. I will still go and say though, of course, Infamous is like the best superhero game.
Well, maybe we'll see an Infamous 3 on the next console, PlayStation 5, or maybe not.
Oh, segue!
While speaking to PlayStation executive Shuhei Yoshida, Oddworld creator Lauren Lanning learned of PlayStation's uncertain future. In a post in NeoGAF, user generic username noticed that while Lanning was on the Game Informer show, he recalled a conversation prior to an on-stage interview with Yoshida about the possible appearance of a PlayStation 5. I said, well, what does the PlayStation 5 look like? And he said, you mean if? I said, you're willing to say that on stage? And he said, yeah, it's an if. It was a really interesting thing, and he didn't give me a clear answer. Lanning then went on to clarify that he does not believe Yoshida was alluding to the possible demise of the Sony brand, but that the comment may have been an early reference to incremental upgrades such as the PlayStation Neo, PS4.5, PS4K. He's hinting at needing to be more agile. None of us know what the future really looks like, so how do we adapt faster? To me, that's the way he was thinking about it. The idea that you're going to be releasing a piece of technology that lasts 7 years into the future, I think is less and less viable.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, technology seems to be like, it's hit its juggernaut pace now. We're advancing a lot faster. You know, well, I mean, it's the future. It's the the further into the future we go, the faster technology advances. So we do kind of need something new. I hate the idea that it's like buying a new console or something, but or like buying a 0.5 or a 0.6 or 0.7, because that's even more slighting in my opinion. Just because it's like, I don't have much money. Stop taking it from me. But yeah, I mean, that's an accurate thought. You can't just be like, you got this for 10 years. You'll be all right. It's like, no, by the end of the 10 years, you're going to have problems.
Right.
So I kind of hope there's a PS5 though. I like to see what new designs they come out with.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're still going to get that even if they do like the iterative generations. What bothers me, number one, is that I grew up, just like we all did, with the 5 to 10 year generation leaps, and it's something that we have gotten used to, and it feels like it can't be any other way. I'm concerned that, number one, people aren't going to be able to swallow it because it's going to be very expensive over the course of the years. If a new console comes out every 1 or 2 years, like these 0.5s, I don't know how many people are going to be adopting them. And number two, generational leaps are in my opinion, they're essential to the development process for game developers. They are the benchmark that they need to meet in order to develop a game. And so if they don't have a benchmark to develop for multiple platforms, you're going to see a lot more games that are being developed for individual platforms. A lot of games are going to become, I think they're going to be put on one platform.
No. Which is a shame, because everyone likes being able to play everything they want on whatever they bought. But, you got any thoughts on
Well, it's
this?
going to be harder for developers to make profit, too.
Very true. Oh, yeah, though. Adam, you got any thoughts on the PS5 possibly not existing?
It just makes me sad because, like I said, I am a console person because I want to be able to buy a system every 5 years or so and just know that for 5 years I can play pretty much everything that's coming out. Mm-hmm. Plus, I also like the ease of use. Like, generally speaking, it's just plug and play. Like, I buy a PS4, I put the game in the PS4, I play the game. It's not always even that simple with PC.
This is very true. I think I'm the only PC guy on this podcast. Yeah, is that accurate?
I don't play PC at
all. It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, so I am the PC guy here. But yeah, I'm definitely in favor of PC just because multiple reasons which I've gone over before and I won't go over right now. But I still respect consoles. I know they have their place. PC has its own place. But yeah, when I have a problem with my PC, it's partly because I don't know everything I probably should as a PC owner. But I'm horrified whenever I have a problem with the PC, and it is usually not worse necessarily, but just it feels worse than when I have a problem with my PS4. Because like with the PS4, it's like I didn't put any parts in here. The dudes at the factory put parts in here. If there's something wrong, it's probably something I can look up on the internet and quickly get an answer and fix it. Whereas on the PC, it's like, is it the RAM? Is it the RAM not being seated? Because fun fact, my RAM wasn't seated properly, and I spent like a whole night thinking I like bricked my computer because I kept on trying to fix it, and I was like, I don't know what to do here. So yeah, it's like when PC runs well, it's spot on best experience I've had. When it doesn't, it's like, God, please send a sign because I don't know what's happening. But yeah, Lord Jesus Christ had a good comment. The thing I think will make this viable is if they make an upgrade path where you trade in your old PS4/Xbox One or PS4.5/Xbox 420 or whatever. 420, hey. And a small fee, maybe like 50 to 100 at most, so it's affordable. And that is a great idea, and I could totally get on with that. It probably won't happen, unfortunately, but yeah.
The other way I could see it going, was I was talking to some people about this last night, is the other way to make it viable is if you make like these consoles like super simple plug and play. Like you can easily just like pull out this thing and then plug in the new better version of it, and just make it really streamlined and simplified, so it's really easy to upgrade your system.
Yeah, modular consoles. That'd be great. I love modular things. I love plug and play and customization. But yeah, one day we'll end up with it'll just be a box, literally just a cube. Just about as big as the GameCube, glows, and you just open it up, take out something, put it back in. There you go. That'll be the upgrade.
If you can make
path.
it so I don't have to buy an entirely new system and it's easy to upgrade, I could probably adapt to that. So,
but my worry is that it just becomes an easier step for them to become more and more like very specific PCs.
Yeah,
like true. They're PCs that are solely for gaming.
Very true.
And that's going to become really expensive. And I think it's going to ruin the niche market that consoles are in.
This is very true. They're at a weird little fork in the road where it's like, we essentially they're already PCs. Let's be honest, they're already just computers. But it's like they're like, are we just gonna essentially become a gaming computer? Or are we gonna still try and keep the not nostalgia, but the niche? I'm gonna take your word. The niche that is console gaming. But I mean, we've kind of had like a bit of a step in that direction, considering that with the PS4 you can trade out the hard drive, which is I always meant to do that, and now it's absolutely no reason for me to do that.
But that's not a very big difference from like changing your memory card like in the past. Like that's basically the same thing.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, we should probably move on to the thought from nowhere, because we are already at an hour.
We will get through this.
Luckily it's not like 12 a.m. already, so I don't have to worry about that.
Yes.
Right, right.
So the thought from nowhere, to all the new people who are in our chat, it's essentially the free-form part of the podcast, even though all of it's pretty free-form because we just say things. We use words. Which Nintendo character would you most like to see in a dark, gritty solo game, and what would it be? An example given was Luigi in a Silent Hill-esque game, the natural evolution of Luigi's Mansion, smiley face, tongue sticking out, was the comment. The idea that was brought to us by... was it one of them specifically, or are we just giving credit?
Well, we're just. I mean, it was Chris, but I think we should call it.
Okay. Two of our writers for MONG, or Middle Nowhere Gaming, are Chris Cobb and Esteban Cuevas. Hope I said that right.
Esteban
I'm sorry.
has recently left us, which is something we could point out. Like, he decided that he wanted to take a little bit of time off, so we are hoping that he decides to come back at some point. But it was very mutual understanding type deal, and he is doing something for himself. So
okay, well that's valid. I've been in that space before.
I'm pouring out some for Esteban right now.
Please don't actually pour it out. But but anyway, yeah, that was brought to us by Chris Cobb and Esteban Cuevas. Their thought grab bag, because we needed a bunch of thoughts from nowhere, which you all could submit, and they luckily came through for us and made us like enough for 10 weeks. But what would the game be? Personally, I'm thinking... I need more time to think about this. Does anyone have an idea already?
Yeah, so I don't have specific characters, and one of the reasons why is because, from what I understand and what I've played, this series doesn't have essential characters that move on throughout the entire franchise. But my idea was Fire Emblem. I really like Fire Emblem, and it's partially because of the permadeath in it. I find really challenging, and it kind of like adds more weight to your decisions throughout the game, like just gameplay decisions, not just like moral decisions. And so my only issue with Fire Emblem is that it always feels kind of melodramatic. It's like a very generic fantasy story. It's like, oh, the evil guy, and we're gonna beat the evil guy and beat the evil kingdom or whatever. I feel like Fire Emblem could really benefit from going a darker, more serious and well-written route, and so that's my first answer for now.
You got an answer, Adam?
I do. Obvious answer would have been Legend of Zelda Dark Souls, but that's the obvious answer. So I'm going to go with Little Mac from the Punch-Out series, because if you ever notice in Punch-Out, like all the people that Little Mac fight are like literally like 2 to 3 times larger than him. Let's take that natural evolution and keep on blowing up either further. Little Mac's love died, and the only way to bring him back is to knock down many, many giants. Punch out of the Colossus.
He's just punching him in the toe. I like that.
That's awesome.
I play that.
Are they in a ring, like, or is he still like going out in an open world and like finding them?
Oh, I think it should be in an open world. Like, it should be in an open world, but then magically when he finds one, they're all of a sudden wind up in a ring.
That's his superpower. He just makes a ring that you can't escape from.
It comes up from the ground.
Arena. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play that. I like playing as boxing characters. I definitely box a Colossus in the toe until it died. My idea. And now, the first thing I was going to say, I was going to steal from Robot Chicken, but CD Cobb beat me to it, because he's a butt. Grand Theft Auto Mushroom Kingdom, which was a skit from a very old episode of not Rooster Teeth, Robot Chicken, which was literally just, Mario ends up in a gritty GTA style city, and like things are just close enough to like, what he's used to back home. So he's like he at one point he steps on it, or he stomps a little girl's pet turtle. He takes mushrooms and of course gets high. He gets in a Mario Kart or a car and drives it like Mario Kart and like runs over people and stuff. And it ends with like him and Luigi getting shot up in front of a wall. So fun fact. That's how that story ends. But the other idea, busted. The other idea I came up with is kind of It's kind of a loose idea, but it still works because they are technically Nintendo. Pokemon Company, Pokemon. I I'm a huge geek. Surprise! And I played in a couple Pokemon like tabletop campaigns, like D&D but with Pokemon. Um,
Hmm.
and of course, those were not restricted to the usual Pokemon world. I will go ahead and spoil. My character murdered a lot of people. Because hey, guess what? In that campaign, if you killed the trainers, the Pokemon wouldn't keep fighting you because they had no one to give them commands. So I shot a lot of people. But yeah, I would love to see just a Pokemon game that's gritty and in a either gritty and in their own world, but telling the more, like the stories that people kind of allude to in the games, like the war that happened as to why there's no young adult males and such in the first couple games, or like maybe go into the details of some of those Pokemon's backstories because they're just like, hey, this one holds space when it's alive, and the other one's like, hey, I take children and take them to hell, and they're just like, we're gonna go ahead and glance over that and not actually talk about that. I want to talk about that Pokemon Company. Um, so yeah, those would be my ideas. Just kind of like just going to the deeper, darker places of Pokemon because like I said, some of those Pokemon are horrifying. There's questions about the freaking Ghost Girl in Pokemon X and Y. I don't know if you all saw that. Um, has anyone else seen that? Did either of you play X and Y?
No.
Not a lot of no.
Okay, so fun fact: in the big city, the big France city, I forget what it's called. There is like just this huge building. I think it's an office building that you can go into, and I'm just going through all the floors, because I got that old school RPG mentality where it's like check everything, you might find a cool item, and I'm going through all the floors, and at one floor you get out of the elevator, and like I'm still pushing down to go, into the room, and I'm just like, I am doing this with my hands, by the way. I'm like, why aren't I moving? And then my screen starts flickering. Like both the screens flicker. And all of a sudden there's just this girl, like one of the Hex Maniac characters, just standing behind me. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like trying to move and I can't move. And then like the screen flickers again. She's gone. I still can't move. It flickers again and she's in front of me. And she looks at me and she's like, oh no, you're not the one. And screen flickers. She like walks off the screen slowly and then she's gone. And I'm just like, and of course, real life, my response would be to get back on the elevator and leave immediately. In the game, I'm like, I'm not going to die because I'm not the black guy in the game. I go after her. I'm like, where is she? Where'd she go? And she's gone. She's just gone. And I asked on like the Pokemon subreddit, and some people were like, yeah, I saw that, and other people had no idea what we're talking about. So yeah, I want some details on that Pokemon. You just kind of threw that in there, and I don't think anything has happened with that. So I want to know what the one is and why the freaking ghost girl's trying to scare me in elevators and junk. I don't want to fall down the elevator shaft. So yeah, that's my long-winded opinion on that. So yeah.
I like Lord Jesus Crust's suggestion of Bayonetta dating sim.
Yeah, that would be I don't know. I don't think any man's enough to handle her. All that hair. Okay, moving on to the closing segment. Or
Yes,
you got another one?
I was just gonna say, I think that not quite going as far as Grand Theft Auto, but an Animal Crossing that's a little bit more griefing, I guess. Like one of my favorite things to do in Animal Crossing was just like hit people in the head with my bug net.
I expected shovel, and I was like, you sociopath.
Well, it would always just like, I tried the shovel, but yeah, it would always miss. But the bug net you can hit people in the head with and really like make their days terrible. A little bit more of that would be good in Animal Crossing.
You might still be a sociopath, but
Maybe.
yeah, we got some good ideas. Nintendo, if you watch this, you owe us money for those ideas that you use. Just remember that, Nintendo. Anyway, we should move on and go ahead and close out because we went 10 minutes over. That's rare. Anyway, yeah. Hey guys, chat. Thank you all for being here with us today. It's always lovely to have an active chat and see the actual thing scrolling. We're sorry for anyone who just got here and we're about to close out. But anyway, if you want to see all of our... I'm going to skip to this part since someone asked. Yes, we do record every session. They go live on our YouTube, usually about an hour or so after the podcast, the stream ends. So you can watch all of them over there. Our schedule is to record. I need to change this in the doc and down there. Our schedule is to record on Sundays, around 3:30 my time. So yeah, that's Sorry, I'm trying to ban somebody right quick. You're seeing behind the veil. You shouldn't see behind the veil. They're banned. Anyway. Oh, another ban. Hey, we're getting popular, guys. Anyway.
Yay!
So yeah, our schedule is record on Sundays at 3:30 my time on the East Coast, and release on later that Sunday around. I would say 4:30. No, 4:30. That's not possible because we usually go an hour. Around 5:30, 5:36. On our YouTube channel, of course. You can email us at contact.mong@gmail.com. That's where if you want to suggest a thought from nowhere, we love to hear what you all want us to just shoot the breeze about. We'll talk about. We'll read out your question, and of course, if you want us to. If you want us to, we will say your name so you get credit for the question because some of those ideas are really great and hilarious, and we appreciate that. So yeah, if you have any questions about anything, that's where you can hit us up. You can find our Mong Twitter account at mong.com. Dot is spelled out. You can find us on YouTube at Mong Network and Middle North Gaming Plays. Mong Network is where all of our podcasts go. That's Mong Podcast. That's Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys. That is Flashback Arcade. I actually got it and remember the name of it this time. I'm sorry to our peoples. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and answer this. Yeah, Lord Jesus Christ, that was something that was not at all related to Mong, unfortunately. Although that is a great idea. I probably should start recording that kind of stuff because it's hilarious usually. And also our Twitch channel, as you should be able to tell, is Mong Plays. You should be here when we're streaming live. I should probably put that down there in the corner. But yeah, that's where we do all the podcasts live. That's where you can see our Let's Plays. And, of course, we appreciate you being here in the chat. If you want to talk to us during the podcast, we try and be active in the chat while still talking. It sometimes works out, sometimes not so much. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. And Twitter. I already said the Twitter, though. But you can find us on Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram. Just look up Mong or Middle North Gaming Plays. You can find us, our website is middlenorgaming.com, of course. That's where you can find all the things we put out, editorials, news, reviews. If we have an episode go up on our YouTube, we'll post it there as well. So everything Middle North Gaming related is there. If you want to be awesome and help us keep the lights on, and when I say keep the lights on, I don't mean these lights, I mean the website. Go to Patreon, look for us, Middle of North Gaming. We really appreciate any help that you can give us. If you can't, we still love you and we appreciate you hanging out with us. Last but not least, our Twitter handle sign off. They've been floating in various states of visibility right underneath our faces or above our faces in Jordan's case. But I am Furious Milk on Twitter. Adam is
Fanboy_Adam.
And Jordan is
JL_Fleur.
There you go. And if you need to if you want to figure out how to spell any of those, because some of us have a complicated name.
All right. Okay.
I'm the one here with just letters. Y'all got underscores and fleurs. If you want to figure out how to spell those, like I said, just go watch the podcast for all of 2 seconds. You'll see it immediately. But yeah, as I've said, and we'll always say, we appreciate you all in chat. Even the people who come in here trying to troll and let me use those little banhammer powers. I used to be a mod for MMO, and I miss those days. It's like a little bit of joy that's in my life. So yeah, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Mong.
Mong.
There you go. Y'all have a good evening now.